Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm out in the woods doing some macro photography, and recently I haven't really felt that inspired or motivated to go out and do macro photography. I think it's been nearly a month since I've actually gone out and taken photos. And I feel like the main reason I haven't really been doing much macro is because I've got this thought in my head like I need to photograph bugs or fungi because that's what I'm good at. And because it's so dry at the moment in the UK, the woods don't really have any good fungi out yet, at least the woods where I am. And yeah, there's not too many bugs about because of the heat. But today I thought I'll just come out and photograph anything, literally anything I can find. Because the whole reason I started macro is that curiosity of what things look like under a macro lens. And yeah, when I started, I was literally photographing anything with a macro lens just to see what it looked like. So I'm gonna try and go back to my roots today and literally find anything on the forest floor and see what it looks like under my macro lens. I found these two little berries. I'm not sure what the type is, but yeah, one of them is still intact somewhat, and the other one is very dried up. So it's quite an interesting scene. It makes you think about the heat wave and how it's just drying everything up. So yeah, I think this will look nice if I place it. What the hell is that? I think this will be nice if I place it on a bit of moss or a tree stump. So let's find one of those and place it on them. I've placed the berries on this tree stump here, and this gives me a lot of working room. I can get my camera nice and low because it's on the edge of this tree stump, so I can get a nice composition. And I've also got a lot of room around it to place lights and backgrounds. So let's get to setting up the shot. So in my camera bag today, I've got an iPad, which I'll get on to talking about why I've got this later on. But camera, we've got the OM1 Mark II. That's what I shoot all of my macro on nowadays. The 90mm 2x macro lens. I've also got a small tripod and a little L plate on this camera, so I can just go portrait or landscape very quickly. I've also got 3 Adaptalux Pod Mini version 2s out today. So these were kindly sent to me by Adaptalux, so thank you very much to them for sending these over. And the cool thing about these compared to the version 1s is that they connect to Bluetooth, so you can use it with the app, hence why I've brought out an iPad. I think I'll actually set up my composition first and then get my lights set up because I don't want to waste any battery on my lights. I think I'll go for a portrait shot actually. I was instinctively going to go for a landscape one, but because it is quite a tall subject, I will set up my camera portrait. So whenever I'm using artificial lights out in the field, I like to underexpose my shot by a stop or two. And this means my shot looks really dark. And then when I bring in my lights, that will light up the scene. And it will mean that I have a dark background and you'll see the effects of the lights a lot better that way. It is a little bit difficult at the moment because the sun keeps popping in and out. So I'm just gonna have to be mindful of that and make sure that doesn't ruin my shot. So as you can see, I've got my lighting set up now. I'm using 2 Pod Minis with white lighting arms on both and also a diffuser on both. Now I'm gonna go onto my iPad and go onto the Adaptalux app. So to connect them, you simply press connect to control pod. And as you can see, both Pod Minis have popped up. Just click on that. And now I need to add the second one. So add pod, and yep, click that. And we're done, both pods are in there. Then you can adjust the power by clicking on the pods. So let's click on number 1. And then let's crank the brightness up all the way to 100% and see what that does. As you can see, that has lit up the right side of the subject very nicely, adding kind of like a rim light around it. Then let's click on pod number 2 and put that one all the way up to 100% as well. And as you can see, that's added a nice rim light on the left as well. If I place this fern, this green fern in the background, that will add a nice bit of colour, hopefully. So at the moment, my subject is quite shaded, whereas the background is lit by the sun. And I really want the background to be dark and then the subject to be bright. So the opposite of what I've got right now. So I'm gonna stand over here like this, shade both the background and my subject. And then I'm gonna focus just before anything's in focus. And then press my shutter button to get a focus bracket. Once I've got enough shots, which is about now, I'll press the shutter button again to end the focus bracket. And there's our shot. I'm really happy with how that shot turned out. I think there's quite a few interesting elements there. We've got the bit of wood that the subject is stuck into, and then we've got one dried up berry and one sort of intact berry, which looks interesting. And yeah, I think that green fern also made the background look nice and clean. I've just found these group of eggs on the floor, and I thought I'd bring them over to a log where it's a lot easier to photograph them. And I'm not too sure what they are. I don't think they're snail eggs. They look to me more like they're shield bug eggs. But if anyone knows for sure, then let me know down below in the comments. I'm going to start by setting up my composition, and I'm going to shoot in landscape and try and get nice and low to make the eggs look more dramatic. I've set up my lights now, and as you can see, I've positioned my lights behind my subject. And the reason I do that a lot of the time is because it creates more shadow and makes things look more dramatic and three-dimensional. If I was to place the light straight on, then it would just light everything up evenly, and it would make the subject look really flat. The sun keeps popping in and out of the clouds, so what I'm going to do to get full control over my lighting is use this black diffuser cover just to block the sunlight on my subject, and that way I can have full control over my lighting and exposure. So everything is looking good now. I'm just going to focus well before the eggs are in focus, about there, and then press my shutter button to start the focus bracket. And it should take quite a few seconds because I am decently magnified here, but it's already getting near the end of the subject. I think about there is enough shots. And there's our shot. I'm really happy with that. It's always nice to find a subject like this. The texture just looks really interesting close up. And I'm not too sure if these eggs are actually still intact because they look very dried up and kind of like they're decaying. I've just found an absolutely tiny harvestman on this bit of wood here, and I've got to be quick setting up the shot because I don't know when this harvestman could wake up and start moving around. I'm going to have one pod mini at the back here. I'm going to put that on full brightness, and I'm going to bring that quite close so it's nice and diffused. I'm now bringing in a second one, and I'm going to have this one quite high up and pointing straight down just to provide some general light on the scene. Because I'm all the way at 2 times magnification here, I'm going to be using an aperture of f10 so I can have more of my subject in focus for each frame. And I'm also going to be focus bracketing from the front all the way to the back of the subject so I can stack those images later on and have more of my subject in focus. Because one single image, even at f10, will only have like a slither of the subject in focus. So with an ISO of 200 and an aperture of f10, my shutter speed comes out to 1/10. So let's focus all the way to the front of the subject, probably the first bit of leg here, and then let's press the shutter button to start the focus bracket. And this is going to take quite a long time, so I'll cut to when the focus bracket is done. That looks like enough shots, so hit the shutter button again. And there's our shot. I actually got super lucky there because only a few seconds after getting the first shot, I thought I'd get a second shot. And as soon as I started taking a photo, it moved away, and I don't know where it's gone now. So yeah, I'm really lucky that the harvestman stayed completely still during that first attempt. Another cool thing about these Pod Mini version 2s, and something I kind of wish that was on the version 1s, is that you can actually turn them off now. So if you just hold the plus and minus at the same time, that will turn off the Pod Mini. So you definitely know that your Pod Mini is turned off and you're not wasting any battery. I've just rolled over this log and I found quite a few snail shells on here, but this one really caught my eye because it's quite bright in colour and it contrasts really nicely with that dark soil in the background. So composition wise, I think I'm going to shoot in landscape from a top-down angle so I can capture all the detail of the snail shell, and then I can also have the dirt surrounding it. I'm going to bring in a couple Pod Minis here, and I'm going to try my best to use them to bring out the texture in that snail shell. Whenever I'm setting up lights, I'm generally just experimenting on the spot and seeing what looks good. Before I set up my lights, I usually have somewhat of an idea of what I want, and a lot of the time that works, but surprisingly sometimes it doesn't work, and after a bit of experimentation, I find something that does. So yeah, you just got to play around with it really and see what works for you. So my original idea for lighting was to have a left and right setup, and I've got that set up right now and it looks pretty good. But I just had a quick experiment by removing this one on the right here. And as you can see, that creates a lot more shadow because obviously this light on the right was filling in the shadows created by that light. So sometimes less is more when it comes to lighting. You don't always have to throw in 3, 4 different lights. Just the one can really make a difference. And yeah, I think I'm going to stick with one for this shot because I really like how it looks. And settings for this shot, I'm going to be using ISO 200. That's the base ISO on this camera, which means I'll get the cleanest image with that ISO. I'm going to use f8. That's quite a standard aperture to use when doing macro. And then my shutter speed comes out to 1/8. I'm going to underexpose a bit because my camera's metering. I think it's misreading the scene right now because the shell is looking a little bit overexposed when I expose perfectly. So 1/8 shutter speed is good here. All that's left to do now is focus just before anything's in focus, about there, and then press my shutter button to start the focus bracket. And in a moment, once it's focused past that snail shell, I'll press the shutter button again. So about now. And there's our shot. I'm really happy with how that shot turned out, and I think it was a really good idea to remove that second light. And a lot of the time, just one light is all you need to get a good shot. I've just found some pretty interesting lichen on the end of this mossy stump here. And I always find lichen a bit hard to photograph because there's massive clusters of it and it's hard to single out an interesting part. And I'm experiencing that right now. I can't really find an interesting part amongst all this lichen. So I think what I'm going to do is just photograph the whole cluster of lichen and focus bracket from the front all the way to the back and capture all of that detail. I've had to invert my center column on my tripod to get my camera low enough to photograph this lichen. And that makes things a little bit more difficult for me because all the buttons are kind of upside down as well. The screen's upside down as well. Yeah, so it means I have to kind of think twice before changing my camera settings. I've adjusted my exposure to be 2 stops underexposed. That gives me quite a bit of room to play with these lights now. I think I'm going to go with the less is more approach here for lighting and just use one light. So as you can see, when I point the light directly at the lichen, it does look kind of alright, a little bit flat. But what I'm going to do is actually point it slightly away from the lichen and behind it. And by doing that, it means there's a little bit of light leaking onto the edge of those lichens, but most of the light can't reach behind the lichen, which means behind it is a lot more shaded and dark. And that just creates a lot more contrast and makes the lichen look more 3-dimensional. So I think I'm going to leave my light somewhere about here. That looks good. So I'm actually going to completely change up my composition because I was just looking at the composition I had and it didn't really speak to me. There was nothing really that interesting about it. Nothing stood out. So I've had a little look at the subject and I feel like the tops of the lichen have a bit more texture to them and a bit more shape. So if I shoot from sort of a 45-degree angle pointing down, I think that will be quite a nice composition. I'm going to spend a bit of time here just to figure out what composition to get, but I think lighting wise, I'm going to keep all that the same. I've managed to find a new composition now, and what I'm going to do is photograph these little bits of lichen in the middle and then have some blurry in the foreground and then some blurry in the background. And to achieve that, I'm going to use an aperture of f5.6, and then I'm going to focus bracket just on those little bits that are in the middle to get those in focus. So I've got my exposure all sorted now, so all I've got to do is focus just before those little bits of lichen in the middle, press my shutter button to start the focus bracket, and I'll press it again once it's focused past those middle lichens, which should be in a moment. I'd say about there is good, so press it again. And yeah, that was a bit of an experimental shot. I'm not too sure if I'm liking it, if you get the pun there. But yeah, I think it was worked out a lot better than the first composition I had in mind, because that one was just very lazy and kind of shooting straight on and not really thinking about the little details. Pine cones are pretty common throughout the woods, but these ones look pretty interesting. So I'm gonna set this up on a log or a bit of moss and get to photographing it. I've just stuck the pine cone thingies into this gap in the moss here, and I've got them quite low down so they're touching the moss, because as you can see on the composition I've got, it looks quite nice. You got a bit of that green of the moss the bottom of the frame, and then you've got the brown of the woods in the background. Just creates a lot of depth and makes the shot look a bit more interesting. So now I've just got to set up the lighting and then get to photographing it. I'm going to use 2 lights for this shot, and I'm going to have them positioned quite far behind the subject. So that means I can create a rim light around the edge of the subject. That just helps it separate from the background, and it will create a lot of shadow. You really have to be quite precise when setting up your lights, because a slight bit of movement can change the effect of the image completely. So yeah, just take your time when setting up lighting, because it really does matter. That's looking really nice now. It's really brought out the texture in the pine cone, if it even is a pine cone. I think it is. It looks a bit different to the other pine cones I saw. I'm going to be using f5.6 to get a nice blurry background, but of course a single shot will only have a slither of the subject in focus, so I'm going to be focus bracketing from the front to the back of the subject. I'm focusing just before that pine cone is in focus, and then I'm going to press my shutter button to start the focus bracket, and about there is good. Press the shutter button again, and there's our final shot. This is something I don't typically photograph when it comes to macro photography. My usual focus is bugs and fungi, but yeah, I think it made out for quite an interesting shot, and I might photograph things like this more often. Just before I end this video, I want to mention that my 2027 calendars are now available for purchase. They'll be linked down below in the description, and I'll also link all my gear that I've shot on with today in the description, and those are affiliate links, so if you buy through those, I'll get a small commission and no cost to you, which will help support the channel. But with that said and done, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.